Morning, Daryl. Now, Daryl's missing, but he's literally just been backstage just to give us a quick kiss and a cuddle before he goes to bed, because he's got to be up early in the morning to drive his little truck thing. So he's not going to be with us tonight, but kisses, 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 kisses. Have a good night's sleep. Right, boys. So we're now back on the internet again, and the theme this week is obviously testing. So does everybody do testing? I would presume that we do testing. Just nod. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Right. So if we're talking regimes of, not like World Wars regimes type thing, getting into a testing cycle and things like that, I've not really had a conversation with the pair of you about how you actually go about your testing way. So, Ross, do you want to give me a little bit of what do you actually physically do when you like sit down and do your testing or what have you? What procedure do you go?
So on a Wednesday at 8:20 in the evening, I start testing.
Is it actually 8:20, or are you just pulling my...
Sometimes it's 19 minutes past.
But do you actually stick to the exact time just so it's a comparable result?
I actually do. I do actually try and stick between 20 past and 7:30.
You just said 8 o'clock a minute.
No, I didn't.
I'll have to watch that back.
Rewind.
So why do you do that?
Just because it's just how I started it, so I thought, well, I may as well try and maintain it.
And when Coronation Street's on, do you pause it and go and do what you're doing, or?
No, it's nothing to do with Coronation Street. No, it's just the first time I started testing, it just happened to be that time. So I thought if I'd stick to that time, then it's continuity, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And what testing kits are you using at the minute?
So I use the Sally Fret.
Yeah,
test kits you get from the shop. Nitrate, phosphate, KH, calcium, and magnesium.
So do you actually test them in the order that you've just said, or do you test them in...
I test them in the same order every time as well. So I do nitrate first, then phosphate, then KH, calcium, and magnesium.
See, I do exactly the same thing. And you know, when you do your nitrate test, so you're not testing nitrite, no?
No.
And you're not testing ammonia?
No.
Right, fair enough. So when you first do your nitrate, it says in the Salifert test kit that there's a certain time scale to doing it.
It says to, I think it's put your 4 drips in, swill it around for 10 seconds, and then the rest of it for 3 minutes. So I set a timer for 3 minutes and start doing my phosphate then.
Right. And when you do your phosphate, the obviously the 4 drops, is it a heat red spoon or a flat level spoon?
No, it says in the kit to do a level, like scrape it on the inside of the tub.
Ooh. So you've actually read the instructions?
Of course.
Far too professional. And when you started testing for the first times that you were testing, did you use anybody as a I test, you test as a comparison, or did you just wing it from the beginning and do your own testing?
Pretty much winged it, I think. Yeah. Well, what do you mean by I test, you test?
So a lot of people that I start marine tanks up within the shop, they obviously do the testing themselves and then bring a water sample in that I'll do a test and then
All right, so, yeah.
comparing the results.
Okay, no, I think I've only brought it into the shop once or twice at the most. I think just to double check my testing.
Yep. Yeah. Right. So do you think that that's why you've got it all wrong because you didn't have me mark your homework, or?
Quite possibly.
Right. So the same procedure over and over and over, every single week at the same time, and everything is coming along nicely now, isn't it?
It is now, yeah. I mean, I've got a bit of paranoia over my phosphate, so I do tend to do that on a Sunday or something as well, just to double check at the minute. But it's at the moment it's maintaining where it should be.
Right. So you do 2 phosphate tests a week, or just?
Yeah, I have been for the past couple of weeks. Yeah, like I said, I just got a bit paranoid about it. So.
Right. Fair enough. Yeah. Right. Cool. So, Dave, I would presume that you've got the little packets as well. Oh no, you've got a super starship.
I still do manual testing.
Do you?
Yes.
Oh my
You can
giddy
never truly
auntie.
rely on electrical stuff. Can you? Still do manual. Albeit it's not solid work, but never use hammer checker for alkalinity, nitrates and phosphates, and then red C for calcium and magnesium.
You've got a cold at the minute. Your microphone's rubbish. That's better. So do you do your testing at the same time, same back channel every week?
Try to. It's usually Tuesday pre-water change.
Right.
So I'll pull out a sample. Yeah, a big sample, like a litre jug. Leave that on the side while I'm doing the water change. And then by the time I've done that, it's usually the same time every week. And I'll just go through the testing regime.
Right. Fair enough.
That'll be alkalinity first, just because that's the quickest with the hammers. Phosphates, nitrates, and I'll do calcium and magnesium afterwards.
So is that all the testing that you do? Because obviously you've got the supercomputer. Do you refer to that more?
I'll refer to that for. I usually write down in a diary as well. I'll write all my findings in a diary.
Right.
So I'll refer for temperature and pH just off the apex. So I've got week by week, unless I miss a week, of course.
Yeah. So obviously,
just put all mine on my notes on my phone, but I do write it all down.
Yeah. So is that all the testing that you do on a weekly basis, boys?
No, there's salinity as well.
Oh, there you go.
You nearly caught me out, didn't you?
Yeah. I've got to chuck you a like curveball every so often.
Yeah.
Are you testing salt
every week?
Are you testing salt, Ross?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, every week.
Yeah. It's amazing when everybody goes, "Oh yeah, I do that," after they've just given us all of what they do, but didn't mention salt.
I forgot about that one.
Do we think that
it's not a test kit, is it? It's just a thing.
Right. Well, that's this week's over, boys. That's it. No, I'm only joking. Because obviously testing is a little bit of a thing. So you know, if you were to add a new coral, would you, or add a new fish, would you do more testing, or would you just stick to your normal testing regime?
I'd probably,
I would just stick to normal, to be fair.
well, if you got another hard coral, it might be might take a bit more consumption, so just worth keeping an eye on augmenting calcium a bit more. Fish, if it's a greedy little fucker and shitting everywhere, maybe just do an extra nitrate test or something like that until you're happy.
So if everything's going perfectly and you're sticking into the testing, not a problem. So what happens if things start to go wrong? Do you test more often, or do you test less because you know that there's a problem and you're leaving it longer to rectify?
More because I'm impatient and I like to see something new.
Come on,
Yeah,
Ross,
I would,
what would
I would
you
agree with that. I
do
would,
it
yeah,
for?
I'd agree. Like I say, with the phosphate way, I had problems with it, so I was trying a solution. So I was testing it more often to see if that was working.
Yeah. Yeah, right. So there's no like handy little tips and tricks that we do any different, because I'll be honest, obviously I haven't got a supercomputer like Dave. I'm very much doing my testing like Ross does. Exactly the same sort of procedure at the moment, like on a weekly basis. We're all writing. So what I've done is I've made little charty things on a whiteboard to just write bits and bobs on. So then it's staring at me. There's one hanging from the ceiling. There's one up there. So I'm literally sat here having a beer and I can see the results up there. And then I go, oh yeah, I forgot to do that. And then I go and do it. So it's not. And how long is it taking you to, Ross? How long does it take you, start to finish, to do your testing?
Oh, really not long. What, 10 minutes at most?
Hmm?
So, yeah, 10, 15 minutes. Obviously, there's your 3 minutes for your nitrate, so you got, and then just everything. Yeah, so 10, 15 minutes, no more than that.
Dave, you're exactly the same. 5-10 minutes,
Yeah,
something like that.
maybe, maybe probably 15, 20 minutes after cleaning up and what have you. You know, washing your vials out.
Yeah.
It's
You
not,
wash them out.
yeah, wash them out,
Oh,
dry them.
far too thorough. Far too thorough.
It's
Mine just normally
£10
sit
a
on the
vial,
side and
Hannah.
hold it. But there is no reason at all, if you've got a marine fish tank, not to spend, even if we said 10 minutes once a week. There is no reason that you shouldn't be spending 10 minutes on testing once a week.
No, it's got to be done, hasn't it?
Nobody can argue that the benefit that you're going to get just by spending 10 minutes. It may be a mundane task, but just by ticking a box to say that everything's perfect, I'm a genius, and that go to the next week. It's not hard.
Yeah.
It's not hard. So obviously, Ross, we're all going to the Aqua Show next week. So obviously, you've now just done another ICP test.
Yeah.
What did you think about? Because obviously, this is the second one that you've done. What did you think about the new one that's just come through? Were you happy?
Happier with this one than the last one. The action taken has worked and is working. Still slightly elevated copper, but it's dropped quite a bit since the last test. The arsenic is gone now completely.
Ooh.
phosphate is where it should be again. So yeah, it's overall quite a good result.
Well done. Well done. So, Dave, well done to you, you reefing genius, because I'm going to take credit for it as well. Because if it weren't for me and you, Laughing Boy in the corner wouldn't have a clue, would he?
Yeah, Daryl. Get involved, Daryl.
Oh yeah, and Daryl. But we've got somebody that wasn't involved on the first one, but he's sat in the background. I can see him. He's got his finger up his nose at the minute. So take your finger out your nose, and I'll put you on the screen.
Oh yeah.
Dear me. Oh,
There we go.
we're going upside down. Going upside down.
There we go.
So yeah, so you're more happy that the second ICP has done what it needed to do, and the process of you can see the benefit of the first one that you did, and then as a result, you've now got two, seeing it's going in the right direction. Was it worth the 50 odd quid?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, because obviously it tests things that we can't. And if you don't know, you don't know, do you? So that's it.
So in relation to your ICP tests that you've done, obviously before you did your first ICP test, you were buying corals and putting them into the system and they were dying.
Mm.
So then you spent 27 quid. And now you've done it again. Your corals are now lasting longer and you're starting to see signs of growth and things like that.
Yeah, I would say so. The tank's definitely looking better. Things are lasting a bit longer. So yeah, it's off the back of that, I guess. Yeah.
So Ben, obviously you're here. How do you do your testing? Do you stick to the same time, same day, same what?
No, I normally test every 2 to 3 days, as in Salifert manual tests. And then just to be sure for my trace elements, I do an ICP once a month. And I normally I wing it as per the date. To be fair, when it's close to the month, I then take a test, get it sent off.
Right. So Dave, you weren't you were in and out last time. Obviously, Ben's now going to go down the Reefs Elements route.
Yeah.
So have you got anything that you've noticed with the Reefs Elements thing that would be beneficial for Ben? You've never met him, so is there anything that you've gone through that you sort of found a little bit weird, or?
No. Just my system. Trace elements.
Yeah, you need to move your mic.
Yeah. Is that better?
That's better.
Yeah.
That's better. I don't know what it is.
Different t-shirt next time.
Yeah. My system always lacks trace. You zinc and what have you on the trace elements. So whether also very low reading. So whether a different ICP would be different. Obviously, they're all going to be different anyway, aren't they? Because they're on a different machine testing. Some of the values that they recommend on like your salinity and whatever, when you go for the advanced, you probably just run a bit lower than that anyway. So it's all whatever your tank sits at its natural state, really. Whatever it's happy with. But other than that, I can't go wrong with Reefs Elements, apart from the price. By the time you bought 16 bottles of whatever, But I suppose it's the same with any brand, isn't it?
Yeah.
So why did you plump for Reef's Elements, Ben?
So the reason why I went for Reef Elements is because before what I'm using at the moment, before I'm changing to Reef Elements. So my story is I started on Reef Elements originally when I had my smaller tank. And then when I got this tank, I saw the Tropic Marine Alpha Reef, the powder that you can buy, then you mix it in RO. It's supposed to have all in one, everything in one. Don't get me wrong, really good product, does work. I found that with my tank, I would still have to dose extra magnesium. Like for my tank is very high on magnesium. Takes I don't know if it's normal, but my magnesium intake is a lot. And with the Tropic Marine, I always found that my calcium levels were quite high, is in the 480, 490 range. And obviously I can't lower that. I can't change that. So I want to, and also when it comes to then ICP testing, I was using Fauna Marine ICP testing, and again, really great ICPs. But then when they come up to, oh, please dose this, or you need to add this, it was products that were very difficult to get in the UK. So with Reef Elements being a UK brand and having a very wide trace element product range, I thought it was easier to go to Reef Elements. So then when I had my first ICP done about 2-3 weeks ago now, I was able to buy the products I needed. So I now have a shelf full of Reef Elements individual products, which I can then obviously dose to their ICP recommendations. So that's why I'm moving back to them.
How much is a ICP test from Reef's Elements? Either of you?
I took the iOS one by accident, so it was 50 quid for me. Yeah.
Ouch!
Yes. Very much, very expensive. At least I know everything about my tank now, what was going on inside. I didn't need that level.
Does it give you a reach around at that as well, or what?
No, honestly, I thought I was buying a kit, of like 3 tests or 2 tests. No, it was just one.
Oh.
But I think it's 27 quid, 27, 28 quid normally for a test.
Yeah, go with that. I think the next one up from that, the advanced, is 35.
Yeah.
They do, what is it, 5 or 6 different variations or something like that, don't they?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's loads of different ones. There's like stages. So you got basic, which is still quite, to be fair, I think the normal test is still more than enough for any normal reef keeper. And then the advanced one is, I think the advanced and above are more for, my opinion, it would be for, say, a coral farmer, someone who's growing corals to sell and buy and whatnot, more to see what's going on in the tank.
Right. So just let me get this right. So somebody is either stood in a laboratory or in an industrial building somewhere and gets your sample of water and puts it in a machine and then presses a button and then all the results come out and then they go, oh no, he's not paid for that result, get rid of that one. Oh no, he's not paid for that result, get rid of that one. He's not paid for that one, get rid of that one. Because I'm sure that they don't like split your water out into 5 different or 10 different things and put it in individual machines, or do they? I would think it's one vial that goes in the machine and spits out
So with the one that I bought,
I'm going to ask the rep next time.
So the one that I bought, it came with 4 vials that you needed to fill, 2 15ml vials and 2 like 50ml vials or whatever it was, or 20ml vials. It was 50ml vials. They were quite large, and yeah,
it's a big sample. That.
Yeah, it was a lot of water I had to give. So I don't.
Ross,
And again,
Ross, Do you think
Yeah.
these two fuck about too much?
Sounds a little bit
Come on.
like fucking about too much, doesn't it?
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. But look at them, they still both got smiles on their faces. It's as though it's like I've
Trust me.
extra bits more.
Hang on. Trust me. When that test came through and it came in the post, and then I realised this is not what I thought I had ordered. I wasn't best pleased with the amount of money I spent for the test, especially when obviously using Fauna Marin test and their price range for their normal test. So I will be going to the 25 quid one, that's for sure. But I might. But I know for a fact though, because I'm doing more water, doing water changes again and whatnot every couple of weeks. I know now that I can probably extend the time for my ICP test, delay it longer. So instead of doing it every month, I maybe can do it now every month and a half, 2 months per test to see what's going low. Or, I don't know how other hobbyists, well, for me, if I start to see corals, changing and, showing the distress or whatnot, I know to do a test then to see, okay, what's exactly going on? What's the reason for this?
Right. But Dave, you do ICPs religiously, yes, and you have done for a long period of time.
Yeah, I don't do it every month though. I do it probably quite a while, quite a long period. I'll do it every quarter.
Right.
I get the same dosing, I should say, on trace pretty much every time. So I know you shouldn't assume, but you could probably just pad out the dosing a little bit of that specific element to the next time.
Right.
With a half dose again. So, but it seems to work. I'm not going to change.
Right. So, Ross, are you sold on ICP tests every month or every quarter? Do you see the benefit of it? Obviously, these two boys, it's not as though it's a hard sell because they're already doing it either every week or every quarter or something like that. Would you do more now you've done two?
Yeah, I definitely would. For now, I'll probably be doing it every month, a couple of months maybe, until everything is exactly where it should be, and then maybe stretch it out to a quarter, maybe.
Right. So obviously the value of corals and things like that people start putting in their tanks increase. So when we're talking testing, and it's very easy to do a £10 test kit, another £10 test kit. So you've got £40 worth of test kits that, in theory, those £40 worth of test kits are going to last you a year, and you could quite happily use those all the time. But when you start building the value of corals in your fish tank, then obviously ICPs either every quarter or every month or every week or whatever is a benefit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Right. So it didn't take long to get Ross into the ICP way of doing things. So let me just explain to all the people at home of Ross's process. So Ross's process was buying a fish tank, and then me trying to sell him an ICP test, which didn't happen. Then I tried to talk him into doing a live stream, and now he's here on a live stream. And then we then pointed out that there may be something in his fish tank that was untoward. And he went, oh, right, I better do an ICP test. So then he did an ICP test, and now he's converted. I should start a religion.
Please don't.
Please, please.
So I have a question.
Ooh.
For who here uses Hannah testers?
Me.
So I'm going to ask you a question. What do you find better, Salafert or Hannah?
compared to what?
Well, no, just them two compared to each other. So Hannah test kits to Salifert test kits, because I've got a mixture of both, and I actually do have a preference, even though one's a little bit more mundane than the other.
I know where you're coming from, but if you compare the Hannah to the Reefs Elements ICP, purely for your alkalinity and the phosphates and nitrates, bang on. I bet if you compare Salifert to the Reefs Elements, it's probably a little bit different, unless you can tell me otherwise.
No, that's exactly.
No? Interesting. No, my Hannah and the Salifert don't match.
No, so I agree with you. So my Hannah specifically will use phosphate as the element I'm talking about. I find that with the Hannah Phos compared to the Salifert one, I find it incredibly difficult on the Salifert to pick your number out. I mean, even
colour.
I mean, you could the color versus number, and I think number is. I mean, yeah, just having the number, it gives you at least an idea of what's going on. With everyone chasing such low figures on phos, and you want to try and keep it stable. Well, for phosphate anyway, I think a Hannah checker is the way to go, and not Salifert, if you're trying to keep stable numbers.
Yeah, I agree. It seems more user friendly.
100%. 100%.
Albeit a bigger expense, right? But
yeah, that's the issue. I mean, the initial cost is expensive on getting a Hannah tester and obviously the regents, or yeah.
How much?
Pardon?
How much?
How much is a Hannah tester? Oh, well, you're talking brand new, at least 70 quid, aren't you? 70, 80 quid?
Yeah, I had a look the other day, actually. They're about 84 quid I'd seen them for.
Yeah, I mean, I know in the second-hand market, you're looking at 40 quid normally for each, around about 40 quid for each Hannah checker. Depending on which
agents.
No, that's the issue. I mean, I was interested in. I saw that if anyone else has the Hannah Master, is it the Master Marine or whatever it's called, when it tests multiple tests in one, but that's like 200-300 quid second hand alone, at least if you find one ever coming up for sale. But then again, I don't know how accurate that machine is. I've never really seen any in-depth, long-lasting reviews saying, "Oh, I've used it for a year and it's been really stable with my ICP," or quite accurate compared to my ICPs.
So what you're saying, Ben, is there isn't somebody on YouTube that's done a year's worth review that could inform the audience, 100%. Go and buy one, and then that's now you. Come on, get with the program.
See, for me, I find with the Salifert sometimes, right, especially like with magnesium, or I can test magnesium and get, say, a figure of 1350. For example, I'll test it 2 minutes later, clean, use a new vial or clean the vial out properly, do it again. And the next thing, my reading's 1400 or 1420. And you're like, well, that's quite a tolerance. If you're obviously trying to hit certain figures and keep the stability there, it's interesting how Salifert has that tolerance range. Even, I mean, all my Salifert test kits are in date, and so it's just interesting. I find that, it could be that when you dip your syringe in to get the reagent liquid, you have some obviously of the reagent then on the outside of the syringe. You put it in, whilst you're putting the droplets in, you've essentially put more in, so you get a different reading. There's so many variables to it. Whereas with the Hannah, I find, especially with the phos, I can only say for the phosphate checker, putting the 10 mil in, cleaning the vial, putting in the machine in, so it says, yep, okay, and then putting the powder in. Obviously, make sure you put all the powder in. Shake it, flick it 30 times as per what it says. Stick it in, set it to test. It says a 3-minute counter, and I've done that a couple of times, and I get the same numbers. because I got 2 vials and I did exactly the same on both vials, and I got exactly the same number, one after the other. So for me, that gave me that confidence of, well, there's obviously the tolerance is very high, it's very tight tolerance on the Hannah compared to with the Salifert. As we all know, we as humans make mistakes and have minor errors that you don't even realize you're doing, and then you get a reading, but it could be slightly off. Which that's why I'm asking when we reference Hannah to Salifert, what people's experiences are, because that's what I found. That Salifert can be a bit of a hit or miss depending on how you do it.
So is that really the only options that we've all used? Because obviously there are different companies that do different test kits and things like that. Obviously Red Sea do their own versions of test kits. Has anybody used the Red Sea versions of the test kits?
Yeah.
So what did you think of their way of testing?
It's pretty much the same as anything else, isn't it? With titration, the colour change.
Yep.
Red Sea do a pro version of their test kits. Instead of doing drops, you measure it by point something of a millimetre, don't you?
Yeah.
Which I use those calcium and magnesium just because you can get a bit more of an accurate reading rather than going, it's 27 drops. You can go by a lot tighter reading from 1350 to between. I find it a bit nicer.
Yeah. What I found with the Red Sea stuff is that, as we were saying earlier, that on the Salifert side, you do your 4 tests for Salifert, and it's a 5 to 10 minute process. You do the same tests on Red Sea, it's half hour. There's so many extra bits of messing about that you have to do. But the only test that I do myself with a Red Sea test kit is the iodine one, because it is actually quite a good test kit.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you've ever done Salifert iodine, it's a nightmare. It's never really got a result for me. But then when you use the Red Sea version, it's a little bit more tricky, but there is a decent test, and you can see the colours, and it is quite a good test. That's the only test kit that I go away from Salifert, the Red Sea iodine one.
So, have you ever used the other, like, call them gimmick test kits, like iron? Because they're all micro tracers, aren't they? You can't actually really test for them without doing an ICP, and iodine is one of those, isn't it?
It is, yes.
So,
yeah.
Is it any good?
The iron test kits, for whatever I've used before, you might as well stick your finger in the air and then stick it in a tank, stick it up your nose, and then think, oh yeah, there's a bit of iron in that. But as I say, the iodine for Red Sea was actually, and I only used it because a customer, because they're expensive as well. It's not as if they're a cheap test kit. A customer brought a fish tank in that had got some extra tests with it, and some of them was the Red Sea ones. So I basically went, I'll have that, thank you very much. And then obviously brought it home and tested it. And from using it once, the magnesium really didn't do anything different. Calcium was no real difference, but took longer to do. So why would you go away? As long as you've got a rough idea. But iodine, obviously, is one of the things that Ross has flagged up on his one of his ICP tests. So obviously the Red Sea version is sorry, I'm just referring. We've got somebody in the chat that's actually watching. No idea who it is. I'm bound to know who it is, but no, I'm not in the shop tomorrow or Sunday. The iodine version, ICP tests are generally how people do all of that sort of stuff.
You've got to
I
say
got-
that Ross is. You'll check looking at your ICP result, Ross. I mean, your iodine wasn't drastically low. It only needs a little bit of topping up to bring it back up to level.
Yeah.
So, I mean, your last when I saw obviously your results, I mean, it looks like your tank's doing all right. I mean, the water levels look quite good. I mean, obviously the copper coming down and whatnot, the iodine a bit low, and your silicates was a little bit raised, but again, you can bring them down quite quickly, quite easily. So
Yeah, the copper was the only one that I want to concentrate on as such. But I did sort of compare the two ICPs, and the silicates are raised compared to the last one. What's that from? What causes that?
Usually from water source, isn't it?
Yeah, generally.
yeah. So yeah, isn't it from the RO? Because isn't it from the resin hasn't taken the silicates, not enough of the silicates out of normal water.
Sometimes it can be, yes.
But it can be. Yeah, that's the only one I know of, but I'm sure there's a lot more. I mean, I'm sure you can get it from food and other things.
Yeah. But obviously, the next one that you do, because we're now using 2 ICP tests, but it's the first time it showed up a little bit on the first one, but not. But on the second one, it was quite elevated, wasn't it? So it would be then keeping into the process of either every quarter or something like that, just doing an ICP and keeping a track of how everything's going for stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is there anything magical that you do, Ben, that's like going to inform the internet and take us viral? What do you do? Do you start talking to your fish tank when you're doing it, or what?
No, I mean I mean, at the moment, I've just started to see one of my corals to show, as I was saying about this stress. My hammer's starting to show stress. Now, I don't know whether it's because it might be splitting, or because it is a newish coral. It's been in for 3 weeks. Next to my frog spawn, really nice and happy, nice, large, grown. But I had my lights on acclimatization mode, on acclimatized mode, obviously. So the new corals that I put in to get acclimatized to my own settings. So I reduced all my light settings by 20% for a month, and then as the AI system, increases the lighting every day by increments of however much it is. And now it's starting to change whilst just getting to the end of my climatization. So the coral's now starting to show stress. So I'm thinking, I have an idea that I think it's maybe the lighting being too bright, too intense. So I've moved the coral to the bottom of the tank. And now that's why I've been looking over, because I did it earlier on today. I want to see if it's puffing out again, and it seems a little bit better, but I'm gonna have to give it a couple of days to make sure. But no, I mean, reference to testing, I do all my tests all at the same time. I mean, I don't just test calcium one day and then magnesium the other. I have a whiteboard, because my tank's next to my kitchen. I've got a magnetic whiteboard stuck to the fridge, and I just put date or test, and then KH, magnesium, calcium, nitrate, phos. And then when I fancy doing a test again, if it's less than a week, then I just update the date, and then change the figures, and then I can just follow it. And then I use an app on my phone as well to put my results into the app, because there you can get like the graph views, table and graph views. So you can like a bit of an ICP, once you've done a couple of them, you can see the curvature and how your tank is using certain elements and whatnot. On that app, you can do the same. And you can see from your own personal test what's going on.
What app is that you're using?
If I check, I'm sure I'm going to lose the signal on here.
No, don't you dare cut us off.
No, so I think it's called. Daryl mentioned it. I think is it Reef? iReef?
Pardon? Don't you use those swear words on this channel? M&L Aquatics. No,
It's
no
Reef.
more
It's
swearing.
Reef. It's Reef something. But yeah, no. You know what I'm on about.
What it reefability or something like that.
Yeah, reefability, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's for a free app. It's good. I mean, you can pay obviously for other things. I mean, it's got some good extra features on there. To be fair, compared to some of the other ones, but yeah, I use that, and I mean, it's another way of keeping track.
Mm-hmm.
So,
the thing is that my wife is in IT, and part of her work at the moment, for her company that she works for, they're actually designing an app for people within the business and things like that to use. So she's actually going on a training course of how to build an app. So hopefully, once she's decided that she can do it for a proper business, we may have a Harfcut Corals app. It's open.
It would be good.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, yeah, can you do other different courses to help me? And she didn't see the funny side of that. So, Dave, obviously, this is now getting a habit of we're now sat in a room with no fish tanks. Obviously, Ben's got a fish tank behind him. Ross has got a fish tank behind him. You've actually got 2 fish tanks. What's happening?
The flag tank, nearly get signal in the flag tank, can I? So,
right, fair enough.
The one in the kitchen, not one to be showing off at the minute.
Ooh. Oh, dear.
What's going on?
Is there anything new that we've been doing this week to either tank?
No, that's probably the problem.
So you've got 2 fish tanks, and you now neglect them both.
Yeah. I'll not lie. Neglected them. Tomorrow job, I think. Tomorrow job. Chuck some salt in. Let them done.
So has anything special been happening in your tank this week, Ross?
Yeah, I've done a bit of rewiring, organising.
Ooh.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah. But I remembered a question I had actually, and I remembered what it was. In my mission to get my phosphates down through my testing, I've noticed my alkalinity is raising. Is there a reason for that?
Do you test at the same time of day?
Same time of day.
19 or 20 minutes past.
Right.
Right. So, yes, there will be a reason for that. And the reason would be because you're doing this and rectifying something, you're messing about with your fish tank, which if this and this were both doing exactly the same thing at exactly the same time, that's perfect. Because the alkalinity has now got something else reacting in the background because you're altering the parameters of something else, which then affects the coral, that will either increase or decrease anything else in the fish tank. So when you have an alkalinity spike or an alkalinity deficit, it will affect your calcium because corals rely on even parameters. So as soon as one thing's off in your fish tank, then everything in theory can have to adjust. It's like musical chairs. If we're all dancing to the same music and there's all the same chairs in a row, everybody knows exactly what's happening. As soon as the music stops and you take one chair away, that creates chaos. and then it becomes stable again, and everything is happy and happy and happy. You then take one more chair away, chaos again. And every single parameter that's in your tank will fluctuate up or down relation to coral growth, coral death, happiness, fish, because you're dealing with Mother Nature. So if Mother Nature, we've all heard the terminology that if a butterfly flaps its wings in China, we get a thunderstorm in Scunthorpe. So if that's happening in Mother Nature,
well-known saying.
Exactly, it is now. But if that's happening in nature, that one thing affects another thing, that affects another thing, that affects another thing, then anything you can't put your finger on, oh, I'm dealing with this, so this will happen. If you think that by increasing or decreasing one thing, you know exactly what's going to happen in your fish tank, you're lying to yourself. If you ever speak out loud, I know exactly what I'm doing in this marine hobby, the day later, tank crash. So everything's fluctuating, and that's where when you're
He's broken up, hasn't he?
Oh, he's leaving us in suspense.
Oh,
He is, isn't he? That finger pointing. Oh, there we go. He's back.
You'll have to finish that
He's
sentence.
back.
Though.
Exactly. So this is why when you increase or decrease something, I may go again, I don't know. Testing every week. If you've noticed that your alkalinity is starting to increase, then just dial back by a little bit.
Yeah.
And it'll
Which again,
sort itself out.
That's the reason to test every week, isn't it?
Yeah. We've done some good content this week, boys. We've done some good content. I'd like that got like a little warm glow inside. So Ben, we can't go without seeing what's happened in your tank this week. Anything memorable?
Other than my hammer, my toxic hammer, splatter hammer is showing a little bit of signs of distress. No, nothing's changed other than no frags. No. On the equipment side, though, I have bought a new piece of equipment.
Ooh.
I have bought myself a Red Sea Reef Mat 1200. I have bought. This is it. You know, when we were talking about, I like buying. I bought it second hand, and it needs some repair work doing to it. And then the drive unit, you know, for the rollers, started to play up. So I'm going to see if I can repair it. But I only spent 50 quid. So I mean, I think it's £300 unit, isn't it? Brand new. Something like that. 300, 350. So I mean, the actual drive unit, if I can't fix it, it's about 140 quid. So I would be technically getting it for 200. So, but I'm pretty confident I can fix it. I hope.
You know what this means, Ross?
What?
Somebody else to pick on you.
Well, yeah. I do have another piece of equipment myself, actually.
Oh, you're going out of the watch now. Come on, then.
I may have sourced a Bubble Magnus reef mat myself. Hence the rewiring.
How long did it for us?
Hence the rewiring.
How long you had it for, mate?
It's been in the sump since the weekend. I've had it 2 weeks.
No,
I had a problem with the motor as well.
no. Right. I'm going to stop you all there. So, right. This is where this is now becoming boys chatting on a Friday night. Because I'm actually going to swear now. This little bastard has been in the shop today and not mentioned it at all. But now he comes on with his bestest buddies and he's got somebody else to pick on me.
Makes sense to
maybe
surprise
why
you.
makes sense to maybe why the phosphate numbers are dropping quickly and changing.
Right. So next week, all I need next week is a couple of extra people, because this lot been sneaky. That's it. They're all being sneaky. They're playing games behind my back. I cannot believe that you've given in.
Well,
Oh,
we'll see how I get on with it.
You're not going to turn back from that, mate.
Well,
No way.
yeah. I think we're gonna. So. What we've got is we've got a Red Sea one. We've got a Bubble Magus. What's yours, Ross? Clarity?
No, mine's Bubble Makers as well.
Not Ross. Dave, what's yours? Sorry,
Clarity.
Clarity.
And I'm using Clarity at the moment. Right.
Bog Roll Wars. Who's wipes the fastest? Is it one sheet or is it 2 sheets? Deary me.
He's just jealous.
Yeah.
The thing is, as I say to you before, there's a lot of the things that you boys do that I am actually jealous of, because you have got the systems and things like that you do your reefing totally different to the way that I do my reefing, and it's different ways. But at the end of the day, there's no right way, there's no wrong way. But it would be a good chat when the three of you have got it up and running, of which one, and you can all have like a little bit of a fisticuff, which is the best. Oh, work me. Anything else, boys, before we go this week? We're all looking forward to the show next week, yes?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So I think we'll leave it there this week. We're up to the hour. That's all I'm asking at the moment, an hour. Thank you very much, boys. Quick little wave, signature sign off, Ben. Have you practiced?
Yeah, bye.
Absolute